guys, Lillian the vegan here with a recipe for focaccia. I'm sure you all know what focaccia is. It's an Italian bread, flat bread, oven baked, and similar to style and texture with pizza bread doughs. So focaccia, there are lots of things you can do with this. You can top it with, sautéed veggies, or add herbs, add olives, add sun-dried tomatoes. There's really an infinite amount of things that you can do with this, and I suggest you try. Today what I've done is used the pumpkin skins that are left over from pumpkins that I used to make pumpkin puree. So use the flesh of the pumpkin for one recipe, and then the skin that's left over is like very, very healthy for you, and the Japanese pumpkin skins are really quite tasty. So I'm using the skins, the pumpkin skins, in my focaccia, and I've got it on a plate, but this focaccia is amazing. That's what it's looking like. It's light, it's fluffy, it's really beautiful. And this is a recipe that I came up with about 20 years ago after lots of trial and error. And what I've done with this recipe is there's no kneading. You don't need a bread machine. All of the magic happens in one bowl. So check out the recipe, and if you like bread or focaccia and you don't like to fuck around in the kitchen and spend hours on end making things, then this might be a recipe that you would like to try. Have a look at the recipe, and hope you enjoy it. Step 1. In a bowl, take 4 tablespoons of lukewarm water. Touch it. It should not be hot, just warm enough that you can put your finger into it. And to that add 1 tablespoon of dried instant yeast. Give that a mix and let this stand for 10 minutes. Step 2. How to make the focaccia bread dough. Start with 400 grams of strong flour. Do not use plain flour, use bread flour. To that, add 1½ teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of dried chili flakes, 1 teaspoon of dried mixed herbs. I'm using Italian herbs. Give the dry ingredients a mix. To this we're going to add the yeast that I set aside for 10 minutes. As you can see, it's bubbled up really nicely. This is exactly how you want it. Put that into the dry mixture I should say. Also add 80 grams or 80 mils of extra virgin olive oil. And 220 mils, just a little over a cup of warm water. It's very warm actually. It's not hot, but it's warm. Basically, this is the base of the focaccia. Give the focaccia a mix. As I said, there is no kneading involved in this recipe. At this stage, you can see I haven't quite mixed it in too much. At this stage, we're going to add the 100 grams of chopped roasted pumpkin skins. And now I'll just show you the bottom of the bowl. You can see that the wet ingredients have been incorporated now into the dry ingredients. So this stage you're going to get your fingers in there and just bring the mixture together. I'm not saying don't knead it. It does not need kneading. So all you're doing is just bringing the mixture together. This should take about 1 minute. That's looking and feeling perfect, actually. Okay, I would say that's it took less than a minute, and now the dough is ready to let it start the first rising. So just get it into a little ball like so, and then drizzle some olive oil, about 1 to 2 teaspoons. Drizzle the olive oil and make sure the dough is covered in the olive oil, like so. Now we're going to start, I should say now we're going to set it aside in a warm and sunny area till it's doubled in size. It's quite fast, this focaccia. It should only take about 30 to 40 minutes depending on the temperature. And what I do, my little trick, to cover it, I just use a shower cap, a clean shower cap. So pop the shower cap over the bowl. Once it's doubled in size, we can get on to the next step. Step 3. The focaccia dough has been resting, or I should say rising, for 40 minutes, and this is what has happened. It's definitely doubled in size and looking gorgeous. What you're going to do now is release the gas by just using your hand. Just let some of that gas out. You can take it out at this point. Get it out of the bowl that it was rising in, and we're going to put it onto the oven tray with some parchment paper that you're going to use when you bake the focaccia. All right? The focaccia is beautiful and soft and silky, just amazing, exactly how we want it. And now what you're going to do is just using your hands, be soft with it. Don't be aggressive with the dough. And just spread it out into the shape that you want it in. I'm just going to put it into a large sort of circle. Get it into a nice round shape. And how big is that? I'd say, 25-30 centimeters. And what we're going to do now is again let it rise for about 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, also in a warm and sunny spot. Once you've placed your focaccia onto the parchment paper and oven tray, you want to keep it warm. So what I do is put it in a nice big plastic bag. I always use a clean garbage bag. Get it in a plastic bag. Make sure you have some air in there, like so, and leave that in a warm or sunny place for 20 to 30 minutes. On to the next step, step 4, which is getting the focaccia out of the plastic bag. And I only let it rise for 20 minutes. 20 minutes was enough. Look at that. That looks amazing, gorgeous. And before baking in the oven, there's 2 things you have to do. The first thing is drizzle a bit of olive oil over the focaccia. Be very gentle. Use your fingers in a light motion and just get it sort of coat the top of the focaccia gently. And the second thing you're going to do before baking is dimple the focaccia, and that is just getting your finger in there and softly dimpling the focaccia. Like so. This is going to go into an oven, 200 degrees Celsius oven, or 390 degree Fahrenheit oven for 20 to 25 minutes. Now, you can't tell me that was a difficult recipe. This has got to be something that someone out there will try. Promise me, someone has to try this recipe because it's just so damn good. And as I sort of mentioned earlier on, if you're not using the pumpkin skins, don't worry about it. Don't use them. You know, put in some sun-dried tomatoes, put in some sauteed onions, throw in some fresh herbs, get your olives in. You know, you can do a lot of stuff. I basically open my fridge and check out what I've got left over from the night before. I've even, you know, put curry into focaccia before, and it is really, really good. So, you know, focaccia is something that you can definitely play around with. Use the base of the recipe for the focaccia, and then just add, you know, whatever you like to it. So I have to try this. It's so nice, and I can tell you, like, when I eat focaccia outside in restaurants, I rarely ever buy it from a bakery. I don't need to because I always make my own. But in a restaurant, I will, you know, eat focaccia every now and again, and I find it's dry and nasty. I mean, maybe it's because this recipe is so great that I do compare it to mine. And I'm not sure if you can see, but this is so light and fluffy. There is a lot of oil in this focaccia, definitely a lot of, you know, extra virgin olive oil being used. But you have to get the olive oil in there to make the focaccia taste really good. And, you know, I'm not saying you should devour this whole focaccia, although I will in the next few days. What I don't eat, I'll just freeze and, you know, keep for later. But, you know, it's all about self-control. You can eat things that are high in calories, just don't, you know, get too carried away. So portion your, you know, meals and calories if that's what you do. And yeah, enjoy delicious things that are high in calories every now and again. Right, I have to get on with the taste test. This smells so nice, honestly. God, fresh bread, nothing like it. Taste test, itadakimasu. I'm dreaming of some candles, a really nice glass of wine, some good music in the background, good company, and, you know, this focaccia could make the magic happen. Hope you try it. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.